It's about 10:30 at night, Thursday. This is the first day that I'm here in Denver. And I already made a video of my visit to Mile High Comics. Okay, that's another video. This is the video of the upstairs. The owner, Chuck Rozanski, took me upstairs when he found out I was a professor, and he wanted to show me this Pueblo Treasures Museum. And I just pulled out my phone and didn't really think much about it, just hit record. So it's an 8 or 9 minute continuous take of Chuck walking around and showing me this Pueblo art, Pueblo pottery for the most part. And anyway, yeah, maybe rough, but it's just one continuous take. And maybe someone will find something interesting about it, because I think this collection that Chuck has amassed, the collection of comics is amazing, and this collection of Pueblo pottery is also quite amazing. And again, it's just one continuous take.
I also own the Pueblo Treasures Museum, which is the largest museum of Pueblo pottery in the world. We have about 3,000 square feet here, but it is jam-packed.
I want to make sure I got your name on video. Chuck
Rozanski.
Rozanski. And this is your comic shop, but really the main thing is the Pueblo Art Museum.
Yeah, because the comic shop exists so that it helps me to buy these.
So you make money from comics to buy Pueblo art, is that it?
Well, to create for the Pueblo people. Pueblo art is very religious based, and I could go on and on about that, but suffice it to say, every piece that's here is handmade. So imagine that you're in the Louvre for Pueblo pottery. What you're looking here is the work of people that lived, careful there's some on the floor.
Okay.
Some of these people, like Annie Fields, died in 1950. A lot of the work here is by people, some of it, people that died 1,000 years ago. And so this is larger than the collection of the Smithsonian. Now the Smithsonian has more really large, what we call plinth pots that, a museum will set them up on a little plinth and put some spotlights on them. But what I show here is the diversity of aesthetic by thousands of people over hundreds of years that have worked on Pueblo pottery at the 19 Pueblos that still exist. Every piece that's here is unique. And so there's none that are mass manufactured. Every single one of them was hand built by someone using clay, typically that they dug on the Pueblo. There's a few of the modern people that are using more raku clays and things like that, but for the most part, they're using what are called native clays. And this does not exist anywhere else in the world. So you cannot go to like the university, or you can't go to the Museum of Indian Arts and Culture in Santa Fe and see this much pottery. You can see about maybe one wall of shelves like this. Because I've been in their storage facility, and they have a nice collection. The School of Advanced Research in Santa Fe has a really large collection of big old pots, but their modern is very limited. So, again, the Smithsonian, modern, very limited. They're old pots. When you're looking at big, beautiful, what are called historic jars like this one, you're going to find those in the large museums, the Denver Art Museum and things like that. But in terms of the much broader aesthetic, I keep these fun little Cheshire cats here by my friend Martha Recaro. She's 84, I think, right now. But if you take a look, there's 5 different cats. All 5 of them have their own idiosyncratic looks and feel about them. That's because they're always handmade, completely handmade. And it just goes on and on and on. But let's go over around the corner here. Watch the cord here, you don't want to trip. I have a lot of transgender references here because I am transgender, I'm gender fluid. And so I'm out there all the time doing all kinds of activism for trans people and trans rights. These are grouped by genre rather than grouped by individual Pueblo, although these are all from Acoma. These are all from Zuni Pueblo. These here are different Pueblos. Some of these pieces are 1,000 years old over in here.
Some of these are over 1,000?
Yeah, some of them are way more than 1,000. But our whole discussion began over this jar that just came in. Oh, hi, sorry. Come on through.
We're gonna finish it up tomorrow.
Why?
The wind's starting to get a little bad, plus I gotta cut down the old sign, or it's just gonna get in our way as we're going down, so.
Okay, you're gonna go do that now?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we're gonna go to lunch and I'll cut it down tomorrow. Or when I get back.
Okay, sounds good. So this is my office, and here, the person who created this jar is in this picture right down here, little sepia tone picture, and that's her mom and dad and her older brother, and this is taken in 1953 at the Garden of the Gods. And this particular piece was created a couple years after that, so 54, 55, and it's the only indication. She's known as an adult as Grace Medicine Flower, and this is the only indication that I've ever seen where it shows her as actually being Mary Grace. And
So back up, I know you said this, but what's the connection between, how did you get the comic shop going and then this came second or this came first?
No, this came second.
Okay.
The bottom line is very simple. When you were a collectibles retailer, I consider it to be a conflict of interest to collect, even as a scholar, the same things as you're selling, because that means that you'd never sell anything. You'd keep all the best for yourself. Well, I don't keep the best for myself. I put everything out in the store, and that's why the store is so exemplary. There's just the damnedest cool stuff in the store, because the only things that I collect are very kind of worthless kinds of things, like coverless comics. I keep 1940s coverless comics just because I like to read them. Moving into the Pueblo pottery, originally, before I got a clue about the spirituality that was involved, initially this was supposed to be some sort of great long-term investment. Once I got involved in the spirituality, though, I started having visions, and the visions led to me decorating my entire upper torso, front and back.
Okay.
And these avenues that are on me are actually deities, and they're considered to be alive. So when they bond with me, it changes me as a person because I become a symbiote with them. And if you're a comic fan and you know Spider-Man, you know how that whole symbiosis thing works. This is just something that's kind of taken over my life. But when I pass, I'm not sure if Mile High Comics will continue to exist. It may or it may not. But I'm hoping to find a home for all of my ceramics, have them for the American people and for the Pueblo people in particular, so that they have a place where they can have a reference to the patrimony that they have from their ancestors and even just from their forebears, from their grandparents and parents.